Hello guys, what's up? I'm sure you are happy to watch this tutorial I'm about to show you. Well, today's tutorial will be taking us through the process of how to actually import pictures on Photoshop. Yeah, this is Photoshop 2017. I don't know the kind of Photoshop you have on your system though. Some people might have Photoshop 2020 and the likes, but the same process actually goes for different kind of Photoshop. The process I want to show you of getting rid of background in Photoshop actually goes for all versions of Photoshop. Okay, without further ado, so today we'll be taking the picture and we'll be getting rid of the background, and at the same time we'll learn how to save the picture if we want to use it in probably in a design or whatever we want to use it in. That picture will not have background as it has originally. It will just be the picture alone. So yes, you might be thinking that how do we get that done? Okay, so let's just jump at it already. Okay, so this is my own interface for Photoshop. These are some projects that I have actually jumped on. I've actually worked on in time past, or let's say recently, as the case would be. So these are the projects that are actually showing here. Okay, so how do I import a picture to Photoshop and I start working on the picture? How do I import in Photoshop? How we import? Okay, Fred, before I continue, you need to understand that Photoshop is a raster based software. Yes, it's a raster based software. In those class we are actually looking at two software, which is CorelDRAW and Photoshop. Yes, you need to understand that Photoshop is a raster based software. You can do your research online, and CorelDRAW is a vector based. But the bone of contention today is Photoshop. So practically we are looking at Photoshop today, so I want us to pay detailed attention. And basically Photoshop is used to manipulate pictures, edit pictures, and treat pictures as the case may be. It has variety of uses. It can be used for different things. It can be used for compelling designs. Yes, there's a way you can see Photoshop designs and you see CorelDRAW design, and you can just tell that, oh, this design is Photoshop, oh, this design is CorelDRAW. Yeah, but now we are not delving into design as it were. Basically, when I started off as a graphic designer in year 20, which was COVID, I think that was 2020 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, my tutor then. So we started with Photoshop and started with getting rid of backgrounds. So I'm going to show you now. So I think I'm talking too much. Let us jump at it already. So what do? How to import picture in Photoshop. Now, as you can see in this place is saying new, Control N. That's I want to create a new page, but I don't need to create a new page because it's not like I'm going to use the picture for a design or something. So all I have to do is go straight to the point. That is open. So there are two ways of bringing pictures to Photoshop. That is Control O, and that which is open. Control which is open, and you come to this place, file option, and using open here, Control O. You can see that it's the same thing. So you can choose to use either the shortcut on keyboard, which is Control plus O. How do you do that? You hold down your Control and your O at the same time. It's not like you hold Control and you now remove your hand, you now press O. No, I see a lot of newbies making that mistake. So you hold down your Control, then you press the O at the same time, then automatically it pops up. So, but then let me just use this option that is showing on the screen. So Control plus O. Let me just click open and look for the picture we use. I would like to use this picture though, so let me just look for it. Okay, so let me check my folder here. Okay, yeah, here's the picture. So I just like this picture, I don't know why. So let's use this picture. So you can see my keyboard, my mouse is on the open. Once I click the picture, it's been highlighted by a blue frame. So, and you can see that automatically this open icon is showing blue also. That means I can go ahead to open it. So I open. Okay, yeah, before I start removing the background of this picture, I need to let you know one thing, and that is the fact that there are some pictures that when you are bringing them to Photoshop, they will not open. It will either tell you that there's an error with this picture or something. So how do you deal with that kind of picture? How do we do with that kind of picture? So what you have to do with that kind of picture, let me quickly tell you here, is that every system has what we call Paint. Yes, it's a software also. Paint. Okay, let me look for it here. Let me look for Paint. Let me look for Paint. Paint. Where's Paint? Where's Paint? Oh shit. Okay, yeah. You can see Paint here. This is Paint. So let me open Paint. So you bring the picture, just like the same process that we did in Photoshop. You open the picture here. So okay, let me just use a random picture. No, let me come to my desktop. So I'm going to be using a random picture. Okay, I think I'm seeing a picture here. Okay, let me use this picture for instance. So this picture has opened in Paint now. All I have to do, that's if you're having a problem with a picture that is not opening in Photoshop, that's why you have to come to Paint. You don't necessarily have to come to Paint all the time to treat your picture. So you understand? I repeat, it is only a picture that is not opening on Photoshop when you want to open it that you bring to Paint first of all. So when you bring it to Paint, you open it just like what I've done here. Then you click Ctrl S, you save it. Now you can see that immediately I press Ctrl S, there's something rolling. That means I saved like that. So when I'm done saving here, I can now go back to Photoshop and open the picture, and the picture will be open, and you can do whatever it is you want to do on it. I hope we get the analysis. Okay, so that's, by the way, I'm sure we understand that. So let's go back to Photoshop. Okay, so we are back on Photoshop. So how do we treat this picture and get rid of the background? So let's do that very fast. So first of all, the first thing you do, you can see that this is the layer. This is this layer of this image that is here, and you can see that it is locked, right? You can see the locked area. So what do I do to unlock it? I double click on your keyboard. That means you are what? You are left clicking, not right clicking, left clicking. Double, 2 times. Double click. You can see now. Okay. So immediately I double click, you can see that the lock icon has disappeared. So now I can now start working on the picture. So but then before we move, so we have our move tool here. Yes, this is the move tool. We have the rectangular mark hue tool. We have the polygonal lasso tool, and varieties of tools. So once you start, using your your cursor on each of the tools to start telling you the name of the tools. So but we don't have the time to start explaining what the tools can do. Probably if a tutorial permits to show, then I'll do that. So but today we are going to be using the polygonal lasso tool. So you can see it, the polygonal lasso tool. So polygonal lasso tool. So I pick the polygonal lasso tool now. So this is the polygonal lasso tool, as you can see. So how do I start cutting the picture? So the way I start cutting my picture is very, very simple. So this is what I do. From outside, I left click once and I drag. So I've dragged from this point. So when I get to this point and I want to capture it, I click again. That means I've captured that point. Then when I want to get to this point, I click again. But then now when you want to cut the picture, one thing you need to understand is that for you to get a clearer view of the picture you are cutting, you have to zoom the picture so that you get a good cutting strategy. You have to zoom it. So how am I zooming this now? Now because my polygonal lasso tool is on and it has gone to this point, I don't have to use the zoom icon. Where's the zoom icon on the toolbar? This is the zoom icon on the toolbar. So I don't have to use it. So all I have to do is I click on plus. On your keyboard you have the plus and the minus. Do you understand? Sometimes if you are not using polygonal lasso tool, you have to use the control, and you have to use the control button on the keyboard and the plus. And if you want to take it down, use the control and the minus. If you want to bring it out, use the control and the plus. But today I don't need to use the control because the polygonal lasso tool is on already. So all I have to do is I click on the plus button, and now I've gotten a clearer view. So zooming out very much like this will help your picture to be neat and perfect. Hope you're understanding me. It will make your picture to be very, very neat and perfect. So now let me just go on already and start cutting. So I pick from those points now. I want to get rid of the background. I have to be very, very careful at the same time. I hope you are following. Now how am I dragging this scene so easily? What I'm doing is that once I've gotten to a point that I'm not seeing again, I hold my space bar. Once I hold my space bar, this hand that is showing is going to show. Then I hold my mouse down on the left click. I hold it down and I drag. Hope you get that. I first of all hold my space bar, then I hold my mouse on the left click, then I drag. So since I have dragged now, I release it. I release the space bar, then I continue cutting again. So the same process is applicable to virtually everything. So remember that the reason why I zoomed out this much is because I want to get a perfect picture cut. So the way I'm going now is as if I want to cut all the picture, like get rid of all the background at once, because at some point I could have actually stopped and get rid of the part of the background before I continue or I proceed to other. Yes, depending on the kind of Photoshop you are using, sometimes as I'm cutting like this, it can just malfunction and to just spoil everything you have cut. You have to start again. But the fact that I'm very fast, it might not do that. So that is a careful process. It's not something you do anyhow. You have to take your time to do it. So I guess I'm almost done with getting rid of the background. Okay, this is the last part. So I have successfully captured round this image. I have captured it round. So I pick it from a point till we go to this place. So how do I now remove this background? How do I remove it? So all I have to do, I have to pick the polygonal lasso tool and get it back to this point. Once I pick it to this point, or when I get to this point, I can double click here, or I get to this point and click once. Once I do that, you can see that it has selected together, and you can see that the line that is showing is now, how do I explain to you, the line is now kind of swirling around each other. That means we have successfully captured the image, which is the subject, we've captured the ground, and capturing this ground means we have also getting rid of the background. I hope we get that. So if that's the case, now this area where I have cut, I pick my polygonal lasso tool and take it to the area. Now when I pick it to this area, it gives me this option. Why are these options coming now? It's because I'm picking it within the area of which I have cut. If I come out here and I click, okay, now we are using the right click. Yes, not the left click any longer. We are using the right click. So if I click outside this border, you can see that it's showing me different thing entirely. It's showing me default black, dark gray, medium gray, light gray, and custom, and select custom color. And that's not what we need. So you have to be careful when you are trying to get rid of the background. Don't click outside the proportion, or don't click outside the frame of the image. Lean between the range of what you have highlighted. So now I right click again on that portion, so, and it brought out these options. So what I have to do first of all, we are going to use our feather. So what's the function of the feather? So that when you cut your picture, so sometimes when you cut some pictures, the edge is so sharp that it's so obvious that one day this picture is being cut. So we don't want that edge to be so sharp that it's now obvious to people that this picture was cut somehow. So that's why we use feather. The feather is going to blur that aspect a little bit so that it will not be so obvious that we cut the picture. So feather. So my feather radius, I usually use 0.2. I start from 0.2. The case might require you to use more than 0.2. Some use 1.5, 2.5, as you would like it to be. But me, minimally, I use 0.2. So you understand? Okay, but for this picture, let me use 1.5. 1.5. So I've applied it. You can see that when I apply feather, there's a difference now. The lines that are showing outside the frame, outside this picture, they adjusted each other. That means the feather has been successfully applied, right? So then I right click again. We are not yet done. Then, okay, before I right click again, so since I've added the feather on your keyboard, there's something we call backspace. When you are in your Microsoft Word and are typing and there's an error, you use a backspace to delete. So we are going to be using the backspace to delete this background now. Since we have highlighted it, we have added feathers to it, then I'm going to click on my backspace